this week and coming back.
And also back in the great state of Texas.
Also back in the great state of Texas. And we have a bunch of guests on this week. We have Slobo.eth from Nfty Chat. Good to have you on.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We also have Professor Werder, if she was up here. Doesn't look like it. Oh, no. Anyway, we have JT Nickel from... she's on her way. We have JT Nickel from Grid Plus. Good to see you up here.
Hey, good to see you. Hailing from the very small, insignificant state of Kansas, but home to the only barbecue you need to eat.
And then we also have DoubtStarsAreFire. Welcome up.
Thank you. And with me is LogrisTheBard. And we're still hanging out in the great state of Hawaii. We decided we didn't want to go home yet.
And well, I noticed that you're up here too. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're still there? I'm so jealous.
You're still in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Wait, that means we could still all go. The party's still on.
It's possible.
The party is still here.
Yeah.
I'm headed back. I'll be back tomorrow.
Okay, Nix, we got place for you.
All right, we do.
But well, you're also up here. It's great to see you.
Aloha, everybody.
And Dr. Malachi, you made your way up here as well.
I am here. Just always, as always, glad to be here with you guys. From Missouri, but I am a Kansas guy, so Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Oh, yeah.
But all right, everyone. So we do have a Slido where you can ask us questions. I'm going to go ahead and post that into the Community Calls channel. That way you can go on there. You can ask us any questions, give us any feedback, and upvote anything that you like. We do use the DGEM bot to distribute the POAP in this call, and JENetics is going to describe how that works for us.
Absolutely. So I just lost my brain for half a second there. DGen is a bot that was designed by Bankless DAO devs to help distribute POAPs on Discord as well as Twitter. So I will go ahead and start the bot. Do not mute yourself or do not deafen yourself for the rest of this call, okay? If you do, it restarts your timer to get the POAP. I'm also going to post a silly little thing that says how to hack DGen, which is really just how to get a POAP. There's no hacks about it. Follow the instructions on this card and you will get your POAP.
Pretty straightforward and simple, I do believe. Again, that's going to go into the Community Calls channel here in the official POAP Discord, and that's also where you can talk to us during the call. But all right, Jen, I'm going to go ahead and hand the microphone right back to you because you are going to talk about your experience at Nfty NYC this past week. Take it away.
That I am. All right, so I'm going to drop like all my links all at once. Bam. There y'all. Oh, you know what? I did the wrong channel. Boop. Let me go back to the right channel. Huh. Try that again. Bam. All right. So here is all of the events that I'm going to talk about that distributed POAPs and why I love them so much. So first off, there was some buzz on Twitter about token-proof integration distributing POAPs automatically to participants that use the token-proof app. I got one of these POAPs from the Hug You at Nfty NYC. That was the BFFU and Hug by OKCoin party that they threw. It was a raffled party, so you had to enter a raffle to win a place to get in if you owned one of the two NFTs or were part of the Hug community. So I got that automatically in my POAP wallet for coming to the event, which was pretty cool. What I also did, and I'm going to have to find very quickly on my Twitter a picture of it, is I smuggled in the IYK discs. And I distributed POAPs everywhere I went while in Nfty NYC on these IYK discs, including to Randy Zuckerberg. So Randy got to have to use one of the IYK discs, and she got a POAPathon POAP from us from one of those IYK discs. So that was extremely special for me to, there we go, there's that post. Yes, my cat has joined the show. And then one of the other events that I went to was the Life Known Origin, the show book. This party is one I have no idea how I got into. There were only about 100 people there, and most of them were either from Life magazine, like the high up people, or were artists in the showcase. So I made it in, and they said, oh, are you an artist? I said, no. And they said, oh, are you with Life? I said, no. And they said, oh, are you with POAP? And I said, yes. So I got into the call, or the party, I guess, from that. Now, if you were one of the first 100 guests to come into the show, you got an exclusive POAP from Food Masku. If you don't follow his Twitter, go do it. He posts absolutely amazing NFTs that make me giggle. And I thought that was interesting. They were using the Magic QR dispenser on the phone for distributing the POAPs. And so when they saw the IYK disc distribution, they were blown away and extremely excited that kind of technology was evolving. And they were also excited to think about the possibilities of these little chips inside of each one of the artists' work. A lot of these artists from the Known Origin Life experience were more traditional artists that did giant paintings or photography. And so the thought of them being able to embed these chips into pieces of artwork and then having like a secret that only their super fans would know where to scan to get either a POAP or maybe like a thank you NFT for visiting them was incredible. And then, of course, I had to stop by the POAP booth itself at NFT NYC within the conference itself. And I got the official POAP from that, as well as I think I scanned 2 different people that were at the booth. So that was incredible. I finally got to meet some of the actual POAP team that I work with on a regular basis. And then I've also dropped 2 of the You've Met Me POAPs, my own and Professor Werder, who will be joining us. She's up on stage. Yes. And with mine, it was, yes, hello. It was animated. And I had a lot of comments about how awesome it was to see an animated POAP because they seem to be so rare. I loved NFT NYC. I loved spending probably the majority of my time talking about POAPs with people. And I think it helped a lot of people that had become very, what's a good way of saying this? Jaded against POAP. I think it helped them reset what POAP is and what POAP is supposed to be, as well as hearing about all the new and awesome things being built with POAP in the third-party community. So that was my takeaway.
Oh man, it sounds like you had such a great time. You and Professor Werder spent a lot of time together, I'm assuming. Yeah, I saw you guys in a lot of Twitter posts and stuff together. You did, yes. I saw that.
It was very exciting.
Yes, I saw that you guys went to Madonna. Oh, Professor Werder, I'm not able to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I'm able to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, I had to turn you up
Yeah,
slightly.
we got to spend a lot of time together. It was lovely. And spend time trying to, share our POAPs everywhere. So it was a lot of fun.
Yes, I saw that both of you went to a Madonna show.
Yeah, we did. It was a lot of fun. It was awesome. That was through our World of Women Galaxies. So we got to go. It was amazing. And that actually became the POAP for this week for POAPathon.
Yeah, we definitely need to hear about the show.
Yeah, it was amazing. And one of my favorite parts was meeting Patricio. So that was incredible. And I just posted that on Twitter. So you can see those pictures. And got to see his IYK card in person and get his POAP. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, those IYK cards are pretty neat, right? I really liked the photo that Patricio posed for. He has his arm like fully extended in his IYK card and his like the tips of his hand and stuff, or tip of his fingers rather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ask him to pose like that?
I did. I said, can you hold that out again? because he had held it out and I did it, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm like, can you hold that out again so I can get a picture? So yeah, it was
Yeah. Other than the Madonna concert and giving out posts to everyone, what was other highlights of your trip to New York City?
For me, it was the noun. I spent a lot of time with my nouns friends, my nounish friends, I should say, from the nouns community. We did some meetups and a lot of excitement. I loved seeing NFTs on the screens in Times Square, and it didn't matter which ones. It was just so cool to actually see that all around me and experience that and just know like this is, we're a part of this. And then another really crazy big event for me was going to the Time Magazine offices for a live Time Hall. And that's my GM hat. That's from Timepieces. And they are big fans of POAPs, of course. So if you look at my POAP collection, you'll see a lot of Timepieces POAPs in there too. So that was really cool. And I ended up with a customized bag from Vinny Hager from, if you know Letters, the project Letters. And that was amazing. So so much fun. It was on and on and on and on. It was just nonstop. Being able to just connect with people in this community for, from all different reasons that I've, met them or interacted with them online, and being able to meet them in person was really special. So I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you got to hang out with a bunch of the nouns people. That's awesome. Me and
It
you
was
have
fun.
been going to Noun O'Clock a lot.
So we were doing Noun O'Clock live together, like on while we were in NYC. So
Yeah.
that's where I met Patricio. He came to a Noun O'Clock live meetup, and then I got to meet another nouner, and then a bunch of folks from Nounsel and Nounish communities. It was a lot of fun.
Who hosts the Twitter space for that?
Toady is usually the main host, Toady Hawk. His project is Noun Punks.
Wait,
And
I know
then
that guy.
Yeah, yeah, he's awesome. And he does a lot of different spaces throughout the week. He does a lot for Prop House as well, which is another funding opportunity if you're building something nounish. So they've been doing the POAPs during Noun O'Clock, and they started that just a few weeks ago, doing a live space during Noun O'Clock, which is the time when the auction ends and the new noun is chosen. And the way that's chosen is through something called FOMO nouns, where you get to upvote or downvote if you like the noun to be the next new noun. And anyone can do it. You don't have to have any connection to nouns whatsoever. And so we play it live on Spaces, and it's just a lot of fun. And that's why I said, I just saw that the post you just put with Sam Ellis's, and I told him my June POAPs are very nounish, very, very nounish.
Yeah, same
But
here.
it's been a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun, and I love that they're updating the POAP really quick too to the noun that is being the new noun. So they'll put in a placeholder and then they update it with the new noun of that day, and usually pretty fast. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But all right, ladies, anything else that you want to say about your time in New York City this past week?
I needed 4 of me.
Yes,
so far,
yes. I was like, does the Doodle duplicator clone you so you can go to all the parties in New York? Because I can't get to all of them. There was no way.
For real. And I need next year for parties to be more spread out so that I can get to more of them, because I had some on my list of like I need to get to, and I wasn't able to get to them because of New York traffic and the limits of the human body. So
there was no way.
Next year I need even though I was there almost a week, I was there 6 days, and I still needed more time.
I thought I was getting there early, and I was like, oh, I'm getting there a day early, and it ended up that I had a whole other conference on the day that I was going to be early. So it was just constant. But it was, and meeting the POAPathon folks was really special as well. And doing POAP-a-thon all together live was really cool. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes, it definitely was. I'm glad I had to kind of, quote unquote, sneak into the conference on the last day, the last couple of hours. And they had just stopped checking badges at that point. But I did manage to get to the POAP booth just so I could meet some of my POAP fans.
She forgot to mention that to me. This is a thing, we're having a thing. I'm a little upset with her that she didn't say, "Hey, come over to the POAP booth because they got some IYKs here that you can buy." And I went, "You didn't even get me one?"
Yes,
I'm still mad. I'm still salty. It's going to be a minute. And by the way, I really, really, really wanted to create, and we just didn't have time, a flat Superphiz to take around New York as well. And it just didn't happen, but I really wanted to do it. That's what that was posted in the chat that you posted earlier.
I see where your priorities are now. I didn't make the flat Stanley cut.
I just didn't think of it soon enough. It was just a little too late.
I think it's because he was having too much fun in Hawaii. That's why.
That's right.
That must have been it.
Yes, the big cutout head of Superphiz at Hodlercon, which Nixorokish and a bunch of the guests up here today would love to share their experiences there too. Thank you so much, Jen and Professor Werder, for talking about your time in New York City this
You're
past
welcome.
week at Nfty NYC. But now it's time to shift the spotlight to Hodlercon. So, Nixorokish and a lot of people up here, please tell us about your experiences at Hodlercon in Hawaii this year.
It exceeded my expectations. I was so excited to meet. For anyone who doesn't know what Hodlercon is, it's basically just the subreddit ETH Finance decided a couple of years ago. Actually, Superphiz decided, but Superphiz didn't even come, so I don't know.
Are you can't grief me, please. I have feelings here.
He intentionally didn't come just to spite everyone. That's what he told me in private.
And the hilarious thing is that they approved that stinking vaccine during the trip. Like, the reason that we couldn't go, my son wasn't vaccinated, and they had the audacity to like rub it in my face. That tells you the CDC is out to get me.
I was
really
actually in
thought that
contact
you were gonna
with the
hop.
CDC.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna hop on a plane and come no matter what, and you were just gonna like message me and be like, "DoubtStars, get me like 4 tickets."
You don't even know. Like, if there were any way that my marriage and Hodlercon could fit on the same planet, then I would have hopped on a plane. But
Hey, you guys are just going to have to come together to the next place and renew your vows on whatever beach ends up being at that HodlerCon. So,
yeah.
Hey, but hey, we missed you.
The
Hey, we missed
Sahara.
that you
Did you guys
couldn't
hear
make
that?
it.
I heard the next one's going to be in the Sahara. That's all I know.
That's like all beach.
Superphiz, I don't like this joke. I don't like this Sahara joke. What is this?
It starts as a joke until we meme it into reality. That's how it works.
Yes, that is what I'm against.
This is what I do. This is my life.
Then I'm gonna meme Costa Rica. Let's meme Costa Rica.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so in.
I don't mean to flex, but I've been doing this a long time, so good luck.
You guys will need the
no,
beach bombs to get that to happen.
No. We're doing me and DoubtStars are forming a coalition against Fizz and his suggestions here.
So I heard Will speak. I mean, Will, I'd love you to talk about the beach bums and tell everybody like what sort of our plans are moving forward.
So the beach bums are an NFT that we created just for Hodlercon as kind of a memento for attendees who came and participated and joined us in Hawaii. And we also set aside some beach bums for a public mint so that people who weren't able to attend but wanted to contribute to Hodlercon, could buy a beach bum and donate some money. And then by owning that beach bum, you'll have some say in voting where Hodlercon in the future could take place. So, Costa Rica, some people were talking about Lisbon, Portugal, anywhere in the world. If you have a beach bum, you can put a vote in for a say.
Yeah, exactly. And we're planning just for everybody on the call. So we're planning on 2024. So the Luo will be coming out with like more information about voting on the next location and what that voting's gonna look like using your Beach Bum NFTs. So yeah, if you want to purchase and like be a part of that, there are still, I think, like 120 Beach Bum NFTs available for purchase on OpenSea or LooksRare. And then speaking of POAPs, like there were a bunch of POAPs at Hodlercon, and is Logic Beach on the call? Or Whoa, do you want to talk about the POAPs? We use the IYK device at most of our events. And then also everyone had personal POAPs that they were sort of handing out and using. I personally made an animated POAP, I would like to say.
Yeah, so I think one of my favorite things about the Hodlercon event was, Anthony from POAP had shown me a way to create basically a template POAP that other people could then insert, their own text into, and then, be able to create that and then distribute it. And what I did was in Hawaii, I took this template and did basically a POAP 101 lesson with anyone who was really interested or showed interest in POAP. And I had 10 people create their first POAP of I met X, being their name that they wanted on the POAP on this template, and then they were able to get it through the curation, and then I showed them how to use the qr.poap.tech to create the QR codes to then distribute it, and it was a lot of fun.
Gonna say that like woe is the reason why a lot of us had POAPs, because a lot of us weren't going to make POAPs, and he sent us that super easy template, and it seriously takes like I don't know, 20 seconds to actually like type your name into his template, and then once you make the template, you send the POAP request. It takes however long they take to approve it, which can be between like minutes and a couple hours or a few hours. If don't request a lot. Somebody from our group actually did end up requesting like more than 100 and got an email like, why do you need more than 100 of these? Which was a valid question. But yeah, and then making it into a QR code. The whole thing was so super simple.
Yeah, and I
It was
think
super.
you were one of the ones that used the template. So
Yeah, I did use your template, and I was really glad because I probably wouldn't have made one otherwise.
yeah, and so the templates were one type of POAP that we had. Some people did individual design POAPs either by themselves or through other templates, and then we also had 6 event POAPs that we had designed by an artist for each of our events that, like DoubtStarsAreFire said, were distributed with an IYK device, which was really smooth and efficient way of handing them out. So at each event we had the disc, and we'd make an announcement and tell everybody, hey, the POAP's here if you want it. Have it prominently displayed so people could just come up, tap their phone on it, and get their claim codes.
Man, that's so cool. So there's definitely a lot of events that took place at Hodlercon that gave POAPs as well, and we've spotlighted them on here on the community call before. But what was your favorite part of being at Hodlercon this year? Which event was the one that you're like, yep, this is the peak of my trip right now?
So for me personally, it had to be the karaoke event. We got a 20-person private room, and we sang a lot of Superphiz themed songs, like Super Freak instead of Super Freak being Super Fizz, and Super Physical, as well as I've Got ETH in Low Places was a fun one, and Chain Chain Chain, the Beacon Chain.
Which time are you talking about, Wo? Because I remember multiple of those.
That was the second. That was the second karaoke party.
Yeah, there were more
The
than one karaoke party.
And who knew DoubtStars is an absolute rock star when it comes to singing. She sounded like a professional singer.
I just like karaoke. I told Wo, like, when he was like, when we were doing the planning, and he was like, "I'm gonna make karaoke happen downstairs. I'm gonna make it happen." I was like, "All right, I will be there for you." And like Logan and I definitely like got a babysitter. JT's daughter like stepped up to the plate and like let Logan and I go out to karaoke, which was super
Yeah.
fun. But
You guys
I
were
will
so
yeah,
much fun.
Yeah,
I really
I
love
will say,
DoubtStarsFire. I love how you can seamlessly talk about you and Logri in third person using your screen names with like never missing a beat, because I would totally fail at that.
it's been
um,
over a year. It's been. I think there was only one time that I doxed him on a planning call because he
Wasn't recorded.
did. Yeah, no planning calls were recorded just for this reason.
If they were, people would know how much like we spent 10 minutes doing the planning and then 15 minutes like faffing about. Right?
Yeah, I will say like, well, agree. Say what was your favorite? What was your favorite event?
I like the party at Scott. We had a beautiful sunset, right? We had a great turnout. I got through like 5 or 6 different tables and like 5 people, and still didn't get around to everyone. Right? But I just had a great night.
All right, next.
if I had,
Say your favorite.
if I, well, I'm just gonna say, if I'd had a bingo card, Logri singing would not have been on it.
It's more like shouting, right?
So for everybody else in the call, Lori saying "I'm on a boat" by The Lonely Island.
Yes.
That's literally my favorite island song ever.
There you go. And you missed it.
Nick, say what your favorite part of Hodlercon is.
I really
Or your
liked
favorite event.
the secret beach. It was the first real event that I had gone to because I got there so late. But I got to meet everyone there. I got to like alternate between meeting everyone and going swimming and then coming back and eating and stuffing my face with cookies. And picking up coral from the beach. That was a really well organized event. It was basically just a bunch of us and it was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. I would say my favorite event, I don't know, it's kind of split between like the welcome party and the goodbye reception. And I think one of the reasons why it's kind of like a twofold reason. Like, it was just so much build on like, making sure everything was going to go well and that, everyone was going to have a good time. And then like, once everything started with the welcome party, I mean, I think Woe felt the same way. We were just kind of like, like, I just felt like I could finally, take a breath and like enjoy it and enjoy the trip. And like, I was telling everybody, so one of the things that, we did at the goodbye reception was there was just a big group of us sitting around the table chatting. And like, I just kept asking everybody sort of that similar question, like, what's your favorite event? What's your favorite thing? And the thing that was so cool was like, everybody's favorite thing was something different, which that made me really happy because it meant that there was something for everyone during the Hodlercon event, that there was something that spoke to everyone, one way or another, and they were each able to like sort of find something that they really enjoyed. So that's why I would say it was both of those things for me.
And I actually might say one of my favorite events was that night that we just drank beers by the pool and literally just handed each other's phones for QR codes and Bright ID.
And like Nix made me make a Bright ID, like sitting there. She's like, "Downstairs, you will do this."
Like I said, like a lot of the social connections, like I can give up. Like I don't really need to see any of you people in Meet Space. But when it comes to Bright ID connections and POAPs, that's when I know like I've really missed out.
I like the term meat space, Superphiz.
That's, meat bags are fine, but I really connect with people more electronically. But I don't know, I really know that I missed Hawaii when I didn't get those.
I felt like I was there in the fact that I did not turn off notifications to the Discord and would find out when people had an extra space for their car or a million different things. It felt like I got a million notifications.
We tried at a certain point to like lock down the Discord, but it just to not annoy people as much. But I actually like heard on the ETH finance community that it was actually making people pretty happy to see how much fun we were having in Hawaii, that there wasn't like FUD happening in Hawaii, that everyone was like having a really great time, you know, and we were together, you know, enjoying ourselves. And
I'm glad you didn't. It made it fun to kind of live the experience vicariously from, you know, the middle of Missouri and Kansas with 100 some odd degrees. So it was
it
awesome.
just means next time, 2024, you gotta make it. You gotta come.
There we go.
I definitely agree. Watching the pictures in the private group like was just so awesome. Like I knew that I couldn't make it, but at least I could enjoy knowing what was going on.
And I put a picture up there just for you. The one at Sky Waikiki of the flat fizz. Me holding the flat fizz.
Yes,
the flat
yes,
fizz
yes.
definitely made his rounds at Hodlercon. He was a
I
mermaid
never-
at one point.
I'll tell you, I never saw once him having a pina colada, which that was his only request.
What did the workers say about the
Oh.
Superphiz head? Were they like, why are these people carrying around this guy's head on a stick? A big fat head on a stick.
Privately, maybe.
Surprisingly,
Are you allowed to call me a fathead?
I'm saying fathead like the company stickers that you put on the wall. Those are called fatheads.
It sounds like you're calling me a fathead.
Well,
Logri,
you
if
do
you're
have one of
talking-
those.
If you're talking, Logri, if you're talking, you got to be closer to the mic. We can like kind of barely hear you.
How better?
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
I'm going to say I think that in the hospitality industry, they're not going to try and provoke the guests with odd questions. It's just embrace the weirdness. And, you know.
I mean, they already thought we were weird. I mean, when we told them that we
Sure.
were a bunch of internet strangers that were showing up at meeting in Hawaii for the first time, the hotel definitely had some questions.
Basically, the bartenders were like, "Would your friend on the stick like a drink too?"
The bartenders offered. They wanted to give me a pina colada.
Oh man.
Next
All
time,
right.
Faze, I promise.
All right, everyone. So we are coming up
Wait,
on
I'm
time.
pretty
we
sure
go to the
Scott,
Sahara-
you drank enough for the both of you.
When we go to the Sahara, I'm getting a pina colada.
And by Sahara, he means Costa Rica.
All
And
right,
by
everyone.
pina colada, he means 5K run in the morning.
We can, and I'll put you down for 10, Malachi.
All right.
Is there any last things that we would like to talk about Hodlercon before we move on to our community spotlight?
Sure. I was surprised by how fit and generally good looking everyone at Hodlercon was. I was expecting a much different crowd from a bunch of people on the internet. But no, like, we were playing beach volleyball at the secret beach. Like, I was feeling kind of self-conscious.
All right.
Needless to say, we had fun.
Amazing. All right, everyone. Thanks for talking to us about your time at Hodlercon 2022 this year. I would like to see Hodlercon 2023 personally, but if it's 2024, maybe I'll be able to go. But all right. So, Superphiz, we have two guests on here in your community spotlight this week. So we have Slobo from Nifty Chat, and we have Professor Werder, who wants to talk about some academic POAPs. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take over. And let's
Very
see
excited.
what... yes, I'm very excited as well.
Yeah, so ProfWerder, go ahead and send me the mint codes for those academic POAPs, and while you're sending those, I will catch up with Slobo, and how's that sound?
Yeah, there are no. Okay, so the academic POAPs that I have used in class are already expired. It's too late, Superphiz. You actually had to be in the class, although you did get a couple. You got one as a guest speaker, so that
Okay.
was important.
I want to learn more about this. And so, Alex, you're also very welcome, because we don't have to take turns here. We can do everything in one one splat at the wall. So, ProfWerder, tell me broad strokes about the academic POAPs.
Okay. So I actually was just on Twitter Spaces talking about this as well with the academic Nfty conference, which is happening in September, and they wanted to understand, how I've used POAPs in class and actually learn a little bit more about what POAPs are and all that fun stuff. So I used it in a number of different ways to encourage attendance on time. Was one option. To actually read the syllabus, I hid a POAP link at the end of the syllabus.
Wait,
and
you can't read a syllabus. What do you? I don't
yeah,
understand
you
this.
can read a syllabus. Yeah, you actually can, and the ones who did got a
No,
POAP for doing so.
no,
So that
you
was
don't. You don't
Swear.
listen. You wait till after finals, and or actually,
Exactly.
you wait till grades are dropped,
Right.
and then if you didn't get an A,
Then you
then
go
you
back
read the
and try and
syllabus,
figure it out. Yeah.
and then you complain because you should have gotten an A. That's how
It's
some of mine
exactly
work.
what happened for most of the students, except for the ones who actually read it and found my little note and claimed it. So then it was like, oh, and now I know who's going to be a good student. So it was kind of fun. And then
so,
I did a number of POAPs throughout, like for guest speakers, and then I also, so at the end, I gave a final one of like wisdom achieved, and we used one of our flora nouns as the art. And then I did a POAP.fun raffle. So I raffled off some NFTs to the class, and the more POAPs they collected throughout the semester, the better chance they had of winning some stuff, including I gave away 2 CryptoKitties. So it was yeah. So it was pretty valuable opportunity for them if they had been paying attention.
So you use them informally, kind of to recognize participation. Have you given any thought? I'm sorry, my best guy is in here wanting to play. Hi, best guy.
Buddy.
Daddy has to work for a little while longer. Are you transforming into a tank? So he transforms into a tank, and I transform into a chicken, and he shoots me. Like, that is our game.
Oh, so
Right
he's
now,
gonna have to wait. He's not. He can't be a chicken quite yet. Give him a
he's
little bit
upset
more
that
time.
I'm not a chicken.
Yeah.
He's still shooting me. So you use them informally. Have you thought about transferring it to like a more formal thing so that someone could show success in your class?
Yeah, and we will be doing more of that. Like, I'd love to see it be tied to the achievement of the class or graduation or things like that. There's a little bit of an issue with that where they can be transferred and sold, by moving off chain and moving to mainnet. So I've kind of kept it to the informalness at this point, but we'll continue to. I've encouraged my university to look at POAP for digital badging, but again, until we get that soulbound piece, for lack of a better word, there are some limitations. But I think we'll just continue to experiment and see different ways that we can incorporate and use them throughout different classes.
My personal belief is that the best way to usher in soulbound identities is to begin acting as if what we have is soulbound, recognizing that it's not, and then it's sort of like it demonstrates that need to the people, like, oh wow, people are actually doing this, let's support it.
I agree, and I kind of I personally treat POAPs in that way. So I do, but I know that there are people who, treat it in a very different way, where they look at it more like an NFT that they can trade. Yeah. So it's kind of that, we're just in that in between space at the moment. So I think it's also really helpful. POAPs are great for onboarding as well, which we've talked about before. Like, that's a good way to introduce NFTs to people as well, and to students.
Are your classes online or MeetSpace?
MeetSpace. Okay. MeetSpace only. Yeah, right now.
So I'd have to go
to face to face.
If I sign up for a class, I am one of those people who's crazy enough to sign up for a class just to get POAPs. Like,
just to get POAPs. I will probably be doing some other ones that'll be available, but honestly, I'll probably be tapping into you. That'll be available more broadly. That'll be more like workshops. And of course they'll have POAPs, but you're more likely to be tapped for faculty for that than for a student.
You know what? I don't. Do you know that I'm allergic to work? Like, it is a. I was diagnosed several years ago. I'm just incapable of doing any manual or not any. Not manual.
I mean that I mean, like, come in and be a guest speaker and have fun.
Oh,
kind of work. That kind of work. Nothing like serious. No.
He's gonna actually send a student in to get the POAPs to give to him.
Right, exactly. He'll probably hire somebody.
I would
What's
do
it when
this.
when you have a student come and review the course?
Mm-hmm.
An audit. That's like a
An audit.
50-50 split. So I
Yeah.
pay for tuition, they get the education, and I get the POAPs. Everyone wins.
And this is the problem.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you're gonna notice someone in your class that you're gonna be like,
That's
man, that's
hilarious.
a weird ad this semester.
So funny. I
Thanks
would
for
not be
playing it.
surprised.
I'm
I would
doing
not
it.
be surprised. So, it'll be fun to continue to find new ways to use POAPs and to start to proliferate them more on campus. And I had students actually creating projects where POAPs were incorporated at the end of the semester. And that was on them. Like, they just needed to propose a project, and a lot of them chose to incorporate POAPs into their projects, which I saw to be a great success in my eyes that they were doing that on their own. So.
My current working plan is to find an enrolled student and offer to pay their tuition in exchange for the POAPs from the class. Like, I think it's foolproof. It's gonna work.
I think you would absolutely find somebody.
Oh yeah,
no
I'm
doubt.
on it.
I have no doubt. They'll just claim it with claim the POAP with Superphiz.eth, right?
Well, yeah,
This is why, and this is also why I need the IYK devices.
I don't want to blow my cover till the end of the term.
That's hilarious.
Alex Slobodnik from Nfty Chat. How are you, sir?
I am doing great, and I love those discussions. Sorry, I just have to comment. Like, my friend is actually a PhD chemist, and all he talks about is how you can do credentialing via POAPs, so you know who was in your class 3 years later. And obviously, with like Nfty Chat, you can like create like rooms for all the people who had the same POAP and use that as the utility. So I'm so excited to see folks using POAPs kind of as a credentialing mechanism, because I think it lets interesting use cases come out later. And I love the way you think about it, where you just pretend that it works, and eventually it will. You will it into existence. So
yeah,
exactly.
Can we establish
just
a
will it into
collaboration here?
existence? I love it.
Can we establish a collaboration where people who hold ProfWerder's class POAPs have access to a Nfty Chat that is specific to those POAPs?
I think that's awesome, and I definitely need to do that. We need to connect.
So here's the cool thing is that if they have a POAP, you can create the room today, and it will be only for those folks. That's what I dropped, where any POAP that's ever been created can create this private community for just those holders. So it already exists, and it's self-serve. So definitely recommend. Yeah,
you don't need admin at all.
No, that's the big news. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm so excited, Superphiz. You should log in.
Okay, back up and start from the beginning and tell us what's going on.
All right, so I'm Slobo. I created Nfty Chat, which is going to destroy Discord eventually, because it's a Web3 alternative where you can log in with your wallet name. And the best part is you bring your own username. No third party controls your username like everywhere else. I can't take it away. We depend on ENS, which is Ethereum name service, and I'm also a steward for them. So when you log in, like I'm Slobo.eth, that's who you are, and it's like verifiable on chain. That's what's so exciting about it. And over time, I'm adding these features that basically reads your activity on the blockchain and creates special rooms just for you based on your activity.
Yeah, so I've been using your platform for probably 3 or 4 months, and I absolutely love it. It the portable identity and the linking up with Web3 people so organically is just it's the neatest thing. We've used it for some rocket pool stuff it's awesome.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, for example, I helped out with I'm gonna mispronounce this, the Clin.
It's Kiln. Yeah, I'd really love to talk about that a minute.
Yeah, so I helped out with or I should say Nfty Chat, because it's us and 3 other folks. I'm like the CEO, and then I have, a co-founder. But basically, someone had to distribute POAP links and to do it in a secure way to wallet addresses. So they just gave me a file of their unique, POAP claim links, and I just messaged all those wallet addresses, and then they just logged into Nfty Chat, and that claim link was there, and it was authenticated, so no one else could get it. I think it worked really well for that team, and I'm happy to provide that as a service to other people who have like larger distributions of POAPs via claim links.
Data stored. And
Yeah,
I guess
I actually just logged in to
expand my
get mine
question.
today.
Yeah, to expand my question, like if I wait 10 years, and well, so obviously the mint code will deteriorate by then, but will that DM still be there, or is there some kind of like data time limit or anything? Like, are you maintaining logs of all of this somehow?
So all the messages, and I'm very transparent about this. So like the usernames are decentralized, right? That's ENS based, but all the other data that's stored in kind of like centralized servers. So those will exist until we choose for it not to exist today. But my plan is to, for those that want, I want to give people the option to have kind of permanent storage on some, probably L2, so it's not too expensive. But today it's all stored, and I don't plan to delete any of the messages unless someone kind of asks me to.
Do you support any user-to-user encrypted messaging?
All of our data right now is encrypted at rest, but I think for those that are technical, they know what that means. So it's not there, but it's definitely something that if a lot of people ask us for it, we will implement end-to-end direct messaging encryption. And by the way, currently there's only mods can direct message you. So when you log into Nifty Chat, you're not going to be like blasted with, the bots and the scams that you kind of get in Discord. But I am going to be opening that up probably in the next month. But I'm going to do it very carefully. Like, you're going to need an ENS name. You're going to need to have a little bit of ETH. And then I'm going to put you in the driver's seat of who can message you based on that person's activity. So like maybe you only want people with 1 ETH to message you. And it doesn't cost them an ETH. It's just they have to have that in your wallet. And that's the unique properties that when you build a native Web3 kind of Discord replacement, that is possible and trivial to do, that is really hard to do in the Web2 world.
Yeah. So I have one last question. I've noticed like the platform is growing very quickly. Can you give us an idea like how many daily active users you have and how that compares over the past 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, so I'll start with like the kind of the most impressive numbers is that we launched at the end of March, and we probably we had less than 500 connected wallets, not even active users. And over the last month, we're up to 7,300 connected wallets. Wow. I would say we're in the dozens of, like, we don't have as much activity as I would necessarily want, but that's why I build these features for people to create their own rooms so we can get more of those daily active users. I'm pretty sure we're going to cross 100 fairly soon, and hopefully all the folks on the call will try it, love it, and start talking to their friends and invite their friends.
You could also, I am kind of partnered with this organization called POAP. You could drop POAPs to, your first X number of active contributors or connected wallets. That would be pretty cool.
Well, I actually already did that. So for everyone who helped me before the official launch, I did drop a Nifty Chat early POAP. I'm not going to say I would do it again, but I think this is where it's an interesting thing. Like, I know I can like force engagement through POAPs, but I actually want people, like, not saying that, obviously there's opinions on POAP farming and all that, but I want people to use the platform for what it's meant, which is like to establish connection between groups of people and actually, communicate. Because like, I know I can like gym up users through like, novelty, but I'd rather form a connection because that's the only way we replace, and I say we because it can only be community supported, Discord, where people are actually using it to talk to one another.
Yeah, I have to tell you a really funny thing. Like, when I think of like, wow, it would be great if Nifty gave out a POAP. I forget about the mining potential or the farming potential, and I'm really thinking about all of us who are here would love to get one. And I think that I need to work harder to separate those concerns because it is so easy to use POAP as a engagement farming tool rather than a community recognition tool. So yeah, definitely a good point.
Yeah, and I think it's like, all the good things about Web3 have like that counterpoint, right? It's like, I love that POAP exists, and there's 1,900 people on this call. I know there's a lot of real people, and the fact is that's what POAP did, is to bring it together. And I try to focus on the positive, and hopefully over time we figure out how to discourage activity that's really not value accretive to Web3 and all of us.
Yeah, definitely. So ProfWerder and Slobo, I am absolutely serious about this opportunity, and I guess shoot, Slobo's already done his part. So ProfWerder, I can't wait to see, and I hope you'll shine enough on me to give me a POAP so I can
love
hang
it.
out there. But this is
I'd love to do, I mean, I could create a chat that also includes some of our guest speakers with the
Yeah.
students. And I think that's awesome. That would be really cool. And I'm actually on here exploring it now. And I'm like, this is very cool. We can definitely, this is a very useful tool. So I appreciate it.
this is that game of take two completely unrelated things and find out how they can
Totally.
collaborate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, and one of the things that I had asked Slobo to do for us is to actually create a POAP Community Call channel here on Nifty Chat, where if you have any of the Community Call POAPs, you will be able to go in there and you'll be able to chat with us. I'm going to be spending some time in there. So if you want to come in, talk about what we're doing here, talk to me about anything, you are welcome to go. I'm going to post this link into the Community Calls channel right here in this Discord to the Nifty Chat channel about this call in Discord, or excuse me, in Nifty Chat rather. Yes.
Yeah, it takes time to.
Words. Blah, blah.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, yeah.
I got a question for Nifty Chat.
right.
So say my main wallet with my ENS, is on like a hardware wallet, and I want to log into Nifty Chat from like a phone or something. Is there a way to delegate access to like another address, so I don't have to load my private key to like my phone?
Yeah, so that's like one of the biggest things. So like we use Wallet Connect, so you can always kind of go through that. But I think the other part of it is there are people who want to new website, kind of scary. We are probably at a little bit more scale. We do have a way to attest to the fact that this kind of empty wallet is controlled by this real wallet, and that way you can kind of interact. But again, it's all about where it is in our queue. I'm kind of waiting for a little bit more traction. Because I hear that from community a lot, but I need just a little bit more traction before I can solve that problem. But I know exactly how to do it.
Okay, awesome. I'll keep a lookout for it.
Yeah, so maybe I can ask your community. So I posted a tweet, and I think you might have linked it as well. I would love folks if you can kind of amplify my voice. Nifty Chat has, I don't know, almost 2,000 followers. I personally have 560, so I'm not really well known. But if you guys can retweet, I would really appreciate that. And then join. I'm always available. And the other thing I want to mention is that I'm building on top of ENS, and I'm building with POAP, because those are the two things that I really believe in. So I'm available to chat with anyone. So feel free to reach out. My DMs are open.
By the way, I love how the Twitter feed is connected with the community. So that's really cool that it's right there as well. So that's awesome. Love this.
I probably should mention other kind of things that if you have an ENS name, like the other integrations that I built that doesn't make sense to me from a Discord perspective, is that if you go to the ENS community, I built a snapshot integration, because as an ENS DAO person, I'm always checking the snapshot, and it doesn't make sense for it to be a bot. It should be a first-class UI element. Same thing with Dune Analytics. I integrate those things that when people actually create communities, which you kind of have to ask me for at this time, I can create those integrations that are much better than bots, because I think bots aren't really user-friendly. And in the end, my goal for Nifty Chat is not only to serve all of you, but to serve the next 100 million people that are coming into crypto, because we got to make it good, and we got to make it easy.
So if you're creating just a room, you can create it yourself. But if you're creating a community, that needs to be created for you. Am I following that? Just make sure I'm correct.
Yep, and I am going to be releasing self-serve communities. It's all in the stack. So first thing is these POAP rooms. Then I'm going to have allow list, self-serve, and then it's going to be communities. That's the order that I'm thinking about.
Awesome.
Would you see charging to create a room or a channel? Not that I'm all about monetization, but it just seems like a logical way to reduce spam and kind of create cash flow. Is that a thing?
I think that for a social product that is based on network effects, it's so critical that I'm VC funded, so I can afford to lose money in the meantime. And I'd rather build a great product. And the way I want to monetize, and I'm fairly open about this is probably the first time I spoke publicly to such a group audience, is I want this to become like a little widget store that people integrate, and I open that up. And that's where the value becomes, because once I start delivering value to other protocols, that's where the monetization happens. And I hope some of that money goes back to the community leaders who created. So if I'm going to mess this up. I'm really bad at talking. Professor Werder creates their own community, and now like that community registers ENS names, and there's like an affiliate program with ENS, and there's money being generated. I hope most of that money goes to the Professor Werder, and then a small fraction of that is going to go to Nifty Chat. That's kind of how I see like the monetization versus charging the users, because I want this to be free for them, if for as long as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very cool.
I guess I was nearsighted by thinking about monetizing rooms, but you're right that growth requires a viral spread. So yeah, you've got it all figured out.
Well, I'm learning day by day, and I think Superphiz, you've seen this, is that what I've created, it's like I created because I keep listening. So I'm always open to feedback, because hearing the problems excites me, because then I can come up with a unique solution. And I think that's how innovation happens.
Yeah, I love you so much, because every time I'm like, hey, I got this problem, Slobo, and you're like, yep, I can do that. Yep, I can make that. And I'm like, yes, I love this guy. So thank you for your willingness.
Hey man, I love Web3. It's so much better than I used to be in fintech. You can kind of find me on LinkedIn, and I work a lot more hours, but I feel less tired.
I hear that 100%.
So
Yes, signal boost on that.
thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think we're all throwing out the beacon on that one, right?
Happier than I've ever been, but also exhausted. Yep.
But all right, so
Mr. Can I, one more thing? Is
Yeah,
it
sure.
okay if I post this link from my announcement into the community calls channel?
Please.
Okay.
All right, and while you're doing that, Slobo, we are coming up to the end of the call time-wise. However, we do have our POAP Spotlight this week, and I have asked both Slobo and Professor Werder, since they were in our community spotlight, to also highlight 3 of their favorite POAPs. So, Slobo, I'm going to go ahead and let you go first. I, again, asked you to pick 3 of your favorite POAPs, and would you like to share them? I can handle all the links and everything. You just need to talk about them, and I'll post them in the chat for you.
Great.
And same goes to you, Professor Werder, as well.
Yeah, go ahead and post them, because I already forgot what I said. So yeah, yeah. If you post them, I'll talk about them. Okay. Yeah. So ENS DAO Happy Hour, which I just got. Why I like this POAP is because it's part of my favorite DAO, which is ENS. 2, I think the artwork on this is just so well done, and it's so unique, and it's so pretty. So I'm just like, I just like it. I don't know. That's how I think about some of these POAPs, where like there's an artistic component that sometimes is better than like what you see in like typical NFT projects. So that's the ENS DAO POAP that I really enjoy. And then obviously Bankless, because this was one of my first POAPs, and I owe a lot of like a debt of gratitude to Bankless community, because they educated me. So I hold that near and dear in my heart. So I don't know if there's Bankless members here. I just always want to thank them. I think they put up excellent content, and I still learn from them day by day.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then let's see. And then obviously I'm on the game of You've Met Me, which I think is pretty, like, talking about it seems pretty like arrogant of like, oh, I like the POAP that's about me. But I guess I do like the POAP that's about me. And I love the meme of more and more people doing that, especially now that there's a way to chat with all the folks that I met and let the friends that I've connect with each other. Because I think if you're an interesting person and you meet interesting people, the second degree connections are just like very beautiful.
Well said, well said. Thank you so much for sharing your POAPs with us this week, Slobo. Really appreciate that. And Professor Werder, I asked you the same thing.
Yeah.
What are your 3 POAPs that you want to show us this week? I'm going to go ahead and post them in the chat as well.
Okay. And I would start with the Noun O'Clock one, and then the POAPathon one, and then Patricio would be awesome. So the first one, perfect. The first one is the inaugural Twitter space for Noun O'Clock, where we do pick the new noun, and I love that one. It's actually animated when you look at it, and I just think it's adorable, and it's it's unique from the other ones that followed, so it's kind of special. And then the next one is the POAPathon Live at Nfty NYC. So this is the one where we did our live show in the hotel room. Like, it was chaotic, but it was so fun. And this is actually designed by JENetics, I believe. And that one actually is animated and shows all the different POAPs that we were handing out while we were in New York. So I thought that's pretty unique. And it also has a photo, what I call our family photo, in there as well. And then finally, I met Patricio. So that was so exciting that I actually got the Patricio in-person POAP. So that was very cool. I also had one myself, and I was struggling to limit this to 3. It was a struggle. I struggled hard. And I love my You Met Me POAP, and I think that's a great idea to incorporate that with Nifty Chat. What a fabulous plan. And that I love the POAP I made this week that had Madonna on it, so I was back and forth on that. But thanks for letting me show some of my favorites, Mr. Mojo. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, not a problem. Glad that you were able to share. But we are coming to the end of our time, everybody. So, JENetics, if you could please go ahead and end the event for us so that we can go ahead and start our claim with the DGen bot. You are going to want to go into the /POAP claim channel, or excuse me, you just want to go into the POAP claim channel, rather, and you're going to type /claim, and if you qualified to get our POAP from the call this week, then he should tell you the mint link. Well, is DGen a he? It should tell you the mint link for our POAP. And we also have this, we have the community call. I actually post it every single week to the official POAP YouTube channel. So if there's ever a time where you missed the show and you want to go back and watch, or you want to see a segment again, or maybe you heard something from here and, oh man, I really want to re-listen to that so I can get it all down, or man, I really like something from the show, you can go right here to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Unfortunately, no POAPs for watching it on YouTube. However, again, if you did miss anything on here, you can go there and do it. But thank you, everybody, for coming up this week. Had such a great time listening to your stories and experiences, whether it be in New York City, in Hawaii, in Slobo, what you're doing with Nifty Chat, and Professor Werder, how you are incorporating POAPs into academia. But as for me and everyone else, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UTC. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you,
Mojo.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.